Hi friends, welcome to the Android series tutorial from Simply Tech channel. In this tutorial, we will see that how you can filter Espresso tests using custom annotations. We'll create a Hello World project in Android Studio. We'll create a custom annotation in Kotlin, and we'll finally see that how you can use that custom annotation in order to filter the Espresso test. So we'll create a new Android Studio project with an empty activity. Simply click next. Let's name it as sample espresso and keep the language selected as Kotlin, and save location would be whatever you want in your system. Click finish. While this project is loading, it's trying to fetch the necessary dependencies from the Gradle scripts. Also, since it's a predefined template, it gives you a basic boilerplate code with structure for test, unit test and Android test. So if you see here that it has created a main activity for you, and it has created packages for Android test and test. Android tests are nothing but instrumented tests, that is something which needs an emulator or device to run, whereas tests are simple unit tests. So Espresso tests generally fit in this category, and it has already created a file example Espresso test with a simple test. So let's try running this to ensure that our setup is correct. To do that, you need to ensure that your emulator is on, whatever you have. Like if you don't have, you can go ahead and create any emulator. For now I have a couple of them. I'll start this one. So while this emulator is loading, yeah, it has almost started. I can just hit run to run this test, and it's saying that executing tasks. So it's just doing building, and what it essentially does, it assembles the actual APK as well as the test APK, installs them on the device, and it's saying that it's launching this test on Nexus 6, and we'll see that it says test ran to completion, and it's saying one test was passed. So this is the basic setup. Now let's try to see how we can add annotation and filter tests using annotation. To do that, simply create another folder or package here named Annotations, and let's add a new Kotlin file and say my dummy annotation. This is a syntax in Kotlin to create an annotation. Now annotation has two main types. One is target, which essentially means where you want to apply that annotation to. Annotation target to dot function and class. So that means is we want to apply this annotation on both functions as well as class. And retention means when is this annotation going to be called or used. So I would say annotation retention dot runtime. So that's it. Now you have created your custom annotation here, which says that you can apply it to function and class, and it will be used as runtime. So now let's open back our instrumented test, and probably let's copy this test and rename it so that we can illustrate the concept in a better way. And I'll probably rename it as copy 1 and copy 2 so that the editor does not throw any error of duplicate test names. So now what we have is three copies of these individual tests. Let's try running them first to see these are working. Now you can also run your instrumented test using the command connected Android test. This is already predefined uh, as part of this Gradle script, and if you run this, what it does is it finds all the instrumented tests that are there in your app and it will run them. So I misspelled it. Let's try it again. You can see that it's compiling and building some stuff. Generally it does not take too long, but you can see now it says that it is starting 3 tests on our device, and it has is saying successful and all the tests were executed. So now let's see how you can use that annotation. In order to use that, you just have to use it simply the way the test annotation is used. Let's add my dummy annotation here, and that's it. So now you applied your annotation to the test, and let's now see how you can filter this annotation. So to do that, you need to use the same command, connected Android test, and you have to say -p android dot instrumentation dot test instrumentation runner arguments. Be very careful about the spelling because the compiler or test executor will throw errors in case these are not correct, or it will totally skip since it recognizes it as an invalid command. Annotation equal to, and you can open your annotation in your package, and you have to write a fully qualified name here, that is the name starting with the package, sample espresso dot annotations dot my dummy annotation. So that's it. Now what we have done essentially is we are using the same command, connected Android test, in order to run this, and we are using a filter. Now this is a syntax and or probably an argument, and it says android.test instrumentation runner arguments dot annotation, and you have to specify the fully qualified name of your annotation, which is nothing but this package plus the class name. So and now if you go to our test, we have annotated one test with this annotation, so we'll expect this command to run one test. It will filter and find whatever test have this annotation and run it. You can see that it is saying that starting one test on Nexus 6. That means it has found out this test and run this. If you want more information, probably you can say info. It will give you a lot more context of the test, and you can go back up inside here, and it says that use app context copy 1, and if you see here, here is the dummy annotation that we have applied. Let's try adding dummy annotation again on another test, and now let's try to run the same command. Now we'll expect 2 tests to be executed and one not. That is, one that does not have this annotation should not execute, and you can see that it is saying use app context copy 1 and copy 2 were executed, starting 2 tests on our emulator. So that's how you can use this annotation. Let's try applying it to the class itself, and that should ensure that all the tests belonging to this class should execute. Now we'll expect it to run 3 tests, and let's go up. You can see that all these 3 tests were executed and it's success. So that's how you can tag your tests with annotations and use it the way you want. It's a very powerful filter criteria, and it's very simple to use. You can create your custom annotation in just 3 lines of code. So that's it for this tutorial. If you like the content, please hit the like button and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.